The operation probably used a combination of underwater drones, possibly models like the Maritka carrying large amounts of explosives, to support Ukrainian combat divers in placing the charges. Forces use satellite imagery and underwater sonar mapping to prepare for the mission, according to confirmed reports from June 3rd and 4th, 2025. Ukraine Security Service SBU carried out a covered underwater bombing of the Crimea Bridge. It's also likely that small drones or the bombs could have been planted under cover of darkness, because covert dive teams had previously been sent in to collect detailed information on the underwater structure of the bridge. The divers approached using closed-circuit respirators, which allowed them to move silently with little chance of being detected by sound or sight. They were guided precisely by sonar pingers and underwater GPS, or inertial navigation systems. To give you an idea, the team probably used Maritka-class underwater drones to help transport the explosives, which were likely a combination of shake charges or limpet mine-style devices, designed for maximum impact against submerged structural supports, straight to the bridge's structural base after the required intelligence had been obtained. The explosives had a massive payload of almost 1,000 kilograms, or about 1 ton. The Ford Fiesta is roughly 1 ton in weight, which is 1,000 kilograms. Just think of how big this operation is. In order to deliver and carefully place that much explosive material beneath the bridge, Ukrainian forces had to transport almost a ton of explosives, about the size and weight of that car. Imagine the number of trips they had to make back and forth from Ukrainian territory. Once the divers arrived at their designated targets, they started attaching the explosive devices directly to the bridge's pier support. The devices were placed carefully below the silt line or within recessed structural joints areas that were difficult to inspect with standard drones or surveillance equipment to prevent tampering and ensure mission success. These charges were likely magnetized or equipped with specialized clamps to remain secure even in strong underwater currents. To ensure they remain undetected, the charges also had anti-handling mechanisms that could be used. They may have had other plans for extraction, such as surfacing at a remote location or being retrieved by a submersible. But after the installation was finished, the divers quietly withdrew along their original route. On June 3, 2025, at precisely 4:44 a.m. local time, the explosives were detonated and the resulting blast caused significant structural damage. The future of Russian military operations in seized Crimea would be severely hampered by damage to one of the bridge spans, which would impede commerce and cut off a vital logistical conduit. Ukraine also intends to attack bridges using the Maritka underwater drone, which can strike and maybe destroy these buildings like a torpedo. As previously said, there is a chance that they will utilize the 6 meters long, stealthy, multi-purpose underwater drone designed by Ukrainian defense firm AMMO, with the sole purpose of ensuring that Russian ships, bridges, and fortifications explode. According to its creators, the sleek black torpedo shake machine is a prototype that can hover beneath the surface for hours, waiting for the ideal opportunity to strike. It is unseen to the majority of radar scanners and sonar systems. Its claimed range is up to 1,000 kilometers when combined with its capacity for silent waiting. The Magnar combo, their route most likely started from Ukrainian-controlled areas, like the area around Odessa or Snake Island. With a low-profile, stealthy design, they were able to evade Russian maritime surveillance and move undetected toward the target zone, while the drones were in standby mode until triggered by a timer or signal. It has multiple internal compartments and can also switch from a suicide strike role to cargo delivery or reconnaissance, depending on the mission. The Crimean Bridge, also known as the Kerch Strait Bridge, is a pair of parallel bridges that span a staggering 127 meters. One is for a 4-lane road, and the other is for a double-track railway. At a cost of approximately $3.7 billion, the combat divers were silently deployed from a covered vessel that may have been disguised as a civilian fishing boat in order to carry out the underwater phase of the mission. Examine the drone's mission in detail, including how it has destroyed bridges, sunk ships, and even shot down helicopters from unidentified areas. With their primary objective locked on the rail crossing bridge, to Navy drones with the amusing moniker Sea Batty are getting ready to launch, aiming for the very center of the Crimea Bridge. When the drones are released, an unexpected series of events will begin. Fate seems to have other ideas as they venture out into the night waters. Two of the drones accidentally targeted the road bridge's pillars and collided with them, missing the rail bridge by a few meters instead of striking the intended rail crossing bridge. These types of attacks cause psychological dread in the opposite party, which leads to putting them in danger. The collision causes a noticeable dent and a momentary disruption in transportation. More strain resources into bridge protection. Let's see how this operates. As the drone takes its first step, it no longer uses Starlink communication, but instead uses a different satellite and GPS system. The hatch opens, rushing water from the depths, but this water follows a carefully planned path, flowing in from the bottom and deftly channeling out through the back. These state-of-the-art naval drones avoid traveling alone. Typically, a squadron of 6 to 7 naval drones work in unison, with the operator taking the reins. This is a difficult task, and the operator uses video feeds to act as the drone's eyes and ears, ensuring that it stays on course when the target is in sight. It's time to ramp up the action. The operator maximizes the throttle while focusing the laser on the enormous. The goal is to see the drone hitting the ship's hull with such precision that the fuse activates the switch, setting off a piece of Soviet airite tech, a powerful bomb. This explosive payload is expected to cause damage to the $675 million Russian spy ship. Let's examine how they carry out one of the operations using this armory of security tools, which includes barriers, nets, and pontoons to identify possible enemy divers. Naval drones flew through as a coordinated unit managed to breach the once impenetrable defenses. The idea is that if even two of them had made it to the designated target, the potential for damage would have been realized, because the drones carried out their mission precisely, and their actions created a loud noise that reverberated throughout the area, striking multiple vessels. The missile was fired from a Magura V-5 unmanned surface vehicle, operated by the main Directorate of Intelligence's elite group. The Ukrainians have increased their sea drone attacks by target helicopters, as well as at least one high-value target, a frigate, and several other ships. This psychologically affects the opposing party and makes them more alert. Here at Cape Tarquenta, an Mi-8 was destroyed by a 13 unit that was launched, according to helicopter reports. Another Russian helicopter, whose type has not been revealed, was damaged but was able to return to its airfield. The attack's missile was AR-73AA-11 Archer, an air-to-air missile that has since been modified for a surface-launch naval role and is known as Sea Dragon. This modification marks a significant advancement in Ukraine's military capabilities. Video footage of the incident shows intense combat activity, including the Mi-8 helicopter spraying one of the USVs with machine gun fire for a while. The helicopter used flares to avoid heat-seeking missiles, and in this case, the Ukrainian sea drones launched a missile. The helicopter then appears to fall, and an object crashes into the water, demonstrating Ukraine's efforts to equip. Check out our original animated movie about anti-air